Yeah, okay, cool. Right, name is Simon Flynn. It is the 15th of December 2025. We're at RAF Cranwell Gym. This session was supposed to be outside, but it's raining, so we've moved inside. It's group coach task 3. We've got 3 athletes over there, including one cameraman and myself, and consent has been given by all the athletes to do the session. They're all fit and healthy and good to go. And we are picking up the session after a 10-minute warm-up, which we've already done. So you'll see from the session plan, we're now picking it up at the drills block, which is about 15 minutes long. So we're going to move over and do that. Cool, right. We're going to pick up the session after the warm-up, like I said. And in the intro, this is a cadence-focused session. So let's just talk a little bit about cadence before we do any drills. So there's 2 ways of improving your speed when you're running, and one of them is cadence. The other one is stride length, and that is a separate element. But cadence, what do you understand by cadence? Yep, literally how quickly you're turning your feet over, and usually cadence is given as a number of how many steps per minute you are running. So everyone has a normal cadence. You can change it by thinking about it and improve it over time. But does anyone know off the top of their head what their normal run cadence is? 160, 170, yeah? Yeah, and it will vary based on what sort of session you're doing. Anything? Yeah, mine is the same. Mine's about 150, 155, and I have been trying to work on it over the last few weeks to bring it up. Does anyone know, this is a pretty broad brush, but what is considered a good cadence? Good in big inverted commas, but sort of good runners, elite runners? Yeah, 180 plus, and elite runners will run at 180 plus cadence no matter what speed they're doing. So they're easy runs, they're hard runs, they're threshold tempo, and everything in between. They will keep that cadence high, okay? So cadence overall will help you develop a better run technique, some rhythm, timing, and then speed, okay? It's not going to change overnight, but it's just these are some of the things that you can bring into your own run sessions to help you sort of improve your technique and overall improve your speed, okay? That makes sense? Okay, cool. So we've got 3 drills. The first one we're going to do is fast feet, okay? And it's exactly what it says, okay? It's moving your feet fast. We'll do it stationary to start with, and then we'll just use the sports hall here, going up and down. But what it does is it forces you to turn your feet over at a high rate and a higher cadence than you're actually going to run at, okay? So we'll do it stationary first, and you can just start by jogging at a slow pace like this. You just need to lift your feet up and down a little bit, and then just bring the cadence up to a point where you can't really go any faster. You don't need to bring your feet up too high. You can move your arms a little bit to a point where you're going really fast, and that's probably over 200 that I'm running now, okay? All right. Fast feet, people talk about nice light foot contact or minimal foot contact. That's true to a point, but you still need to create some force through your foot going through the ground to actually propel you forward. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate moving forward from fast feet, and you can do it from a stationary point. Bring your cadence up, and then fast feet. So, and they're short, sharp steps. Okay, I'll do it coming back the other way. You can start here, stationary, fast feet, and it's short, sharp steps. Your foot is landing beneath your hips. Oh, I'm out of breath already. And you're going to do that about 20 meters down and then an easy jog back. And it's just going to force your body to start turning your feet over quickly. So just spread out a little bit from where you are. And then just go about 20 meters down. Okay, good. I think we'll do just one more of those about 20 meters out, but you feel that it's actually forcing you to do a cadence that's probably much higher than you are used to. Yeah, okay. So have a go at one more, about 20 meters down, easy jog back. Good. Okay, so hopefully that has tricked your body into moving your feet a little bit faster for the next couple of drills, okay? So the next drill we're going to move on to is an A skip. Has anyone not heard of an A skip before? Heard of an A skip? Yeah? Okay, cool. We're not going to go straight onto it. We're going to build it up because it can be a little bit too much to think about sometimes if you're not used to doing it. But an A skip or an A march is what we're going to start with. It improves your rhythm and your timing of your run. It forces your feet to land beneath your hips. So with a high cadence run, what you want is your feet beneath the hips, not striding out in front of you. It's hard to have a higher cadence if your feet are striding out in front of you, which has other problems associated with it. Okay, but foot under the hips, and nice fast feet, minimal contact with the ground. Okay, so I said we're going to build it up, starting with an A march. Okay, so from stationary, you're just going to march. We're all in the military, we know how to march. Okay, so your leg is going to come up, upper leg is parallel with the ground, losing my balance. Okay, and your opposite arm is going to come up with it. Okay, and your foot is just landing beneath your foot, beneath your hips. Okay, and then you can bring the cadence up a little bit to a faster march sort of style on the spot. So give that a go for 10 seconds or so. I'll do it with you. A little bit of dorsal flex in your foot, so your foot is planted flat to the ground. That's it. Okay, stop there. Good. All right, and then you can progress that onto moving forward because that's where we want to be going. But again, when you're doing a march like this, moving forward, you can't put your foot out in front of you. It's going to force you to have that foot placement beneath your hips and then moving on to the A skip. Okay, so have a go, probably 10 meters out, and then an easy jog back. No need to lift your knees any higher than parallel. And just jog to the end there, all the way down. Good, and then have another go coming up to the middle there for the A march. And then just easy jog back into the end. Good, okay, so hopefully that's reinforced the position that your leg needs to be in when you're coming up and down, which we're going to move on to an A skip, okay? So to progress from an A march onto an A skip, which is the drill which we want to focus on here, this is a march, okay? And then to make it a skip, all you're going to do with your foot that's in contact with the ground, you're going to do a little skip or a jump like that, okay? Okay, this is really slow. And then you're going to build up the speed to a skip. Don't overthink it. If you try and overthink it, you'll probably get your arms out of sync and you'll be TikToking on the spot or down the sports hall, okay? So try it on the spot to start with. If you want to start with an A march and then just put that little skip in, good, that's it. Yeah, exactly. If you think about it too much, you get out of sync with your arms and your foot, so just go back to a slower cadence. And you can pick the cadence up to a point where you probably can't go any faster. All right, good, stop there. So the A skip, we'll progress it on to moving in a minute, but it's a really good drill for getting your legs mechanics in the right position for a higher cadence or higher turnover of your feet. Okay, so to go from the standing A skip or stationary A skip, you're just going to start moving forward. So head up, chest up, and you're just going to go forwards like this. And you have to have your foot land beneath your hips. I'll come back the other way. But if you keep looking at the far wall, opposite arm, opposite leg, and then you can pick the cadence up a little bit, but it'll really reinforce that mechanics of your leg, foot placement beneath the hips, and that elasticity or bounce in your foot. Keep the foot a little bit flexed so it is a flat plant beneath your hips, okay? So let's do a couple of times through. 20 meters or so down, get to the end, and then easy jog back, take a little rest, and then we'll do another one as well, okay? Have a go at that. That looks right. Everyone feel it all right? Yeah, okay. So we'll do once more of that in about 10 seconds or so. Just keep your head up, just look to the far end and chest pointing out rather than looking at the floor. And we'll do one more of those, okay? All right, good. So that's the A skip, and that is a really good drill to include perhaps in some of your warm-ups or if you're going to do a cadence-specific session, all right? So we've got about a few more minutes left of the drill section before the main set. The last drill we're going to go on to is some strides. Now, you probably want no less than this space that we've got in the sports hall here, but what I want you to do is start from the back wall in a moment, is just start with a jog and just build up to a roughly 10k pace, okay? And then you're going to run at high cadence, and you need to think about your cadence as you run down. Don't need to count or anything, but try and think of a higher cadence turnover of your feet, foot landing beneath your hips, and just turning them over about 5 to 10% more than what you would normally do if you're out on an easy run, okay? And it should just feel a little bit faster in terms of the turnover, but keep the pace, if you can, nice and steady, all right? I'm just going to give you a little demo. You might be able to see it, but I'm going to build from here, okay, into a 10k pace. And then coming back the other way, just going to build up and then turn over high cadence, foot landing beneath, looking ahead, okay? All right, it's quite hard to see. You probably have to feel it at your own run pace. You know how it feels for you, okay? Any questions on that last one? All right, okay, there's not loads of room here, but see what you can get out of about the length of the sports hall. Have a go a couple of times down.
I'm not allowed to do this one because my knee and my physios are right over there. So
Okay.
I'll do some A skips if that's okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah. All right, good. We'll do that again in a sec. Your foot is landing probably half a foot about in front of you. Try and just get it landing directly beneath you. It will help by just having your head up a little bit more, not looking at the ground. Your eyes were looking down, but not your head, actually. So it's not so much of a debrief point, but I have to tell myself when I'm doing it, look right ahead and chest up, okay? All right? So we'll do, let's do one more of those all the way down, build to a 10k pace, and turn those feet over nice and quick. That's good, Em. All right, good. And then stuff like that, again, you can build into a warm-up or at the end of a session if you want to just do a few little drills at the end of a normal run or an easy run, for example, okay? So that is pretty much the end of the drill session before the main set. So just a recap of what we covered, we did some fast feet, which promotes you turning your feet over at a higher pace and landing beneath the hips. We went from stationary to moving. We then did a build to an A skip, which you all were pretty good at, actually. I didn't really have many points to say on that, but that is a really good one to include in your warm-up. Again, it promotes the rhythm and timing of your run, mechanics of your leg landing beneath your feet, forces your chest and your head up when you're not thinking too much about it, and promotes that turnover or that higher cadence run. And then finally, some strides. And you can put strides into any form of run at the start as a warm-up, at the end, just as something to do at the end of an easy run. And it's just going to promote that high cadence run and that better mechanics to essentially make you run faster. A couple of other things you can do in your own run sessions. So hill repeats, if you're running up at a hill or doing some short repeats up a hill, you have to have a high cadence. You can't overstride and have a low cadence running up a hill. So some short hill repetitions if you can find a hill in Lincolnshire. And the other thing that I've been doing recently is pretty boring, but putting a metronome on your phone or on your headphones. I do runs on a Monday night where I put a certain BPM or a certain cadence that I want to run at, and over time you can just gradually increase that cadence, and it's just something to tell you when to put your foot down essentially and keep that cadence nice and steady. And if you want, you can put the cadence on your watch if it's got that capability as well. All right, any questions on the drills and stuff before we...
When you're going, like say if you're constantly increasing your cadence, is there a where you can go the other way to wear yourself out to?
Yeah, the question, if the camera didn't hear that, was can you overstride if you're trying to do a higher cadence? Yes, you can. So if you're trying to build speed, you want to build, increase your cadence and increase your stride length. But if you haven't got a sufficiently high cadence, then you can overstride and therefore reduce your cadence to try and force that speed out of. Okay, so the way to combat that is just think about that foot placement beneath your hips and keep it turning over, because you can have a really high cadence just standing still, and I'm clearly not moving, and then you can just keep that cadence going and go really slowly. But if you're trying to move fast, if you're not thinking about it too much, you can overstride. So, and the problem with overstriding is that if you put your foot out in front of you, it acts like a brake. Your heel strike, you can cause an injury, but really it's just slowing you down and putting too much shock through your leg. So that's kind of the thought process that I go through when I'm doing it. Yeah. Anything else, Steve? No, that was great, brilliant. We can probably